The current coronavirus pandemic has altered our daily routines and impacts the way we interact with others. In our ongoing work, we want to explore whether and how players' perception of toxicity in competitive online games has changed. In this context, toxicity describes negative player behavior and can take various forms, such as harassment and intentionally bad team play. We used one question polls in Reddit communities of 8 different competitive online games to ask frequent players whether they experience more or less toxicity since the beginning of the pandemic. We can see a noticeable number of players reporting an increase in toxicity, about 1/3 of participants for most games. In contrast, only very few players state that they have experienced a decline in toxicity. We believe that this tendency towards increased toxicity is worth further investigation. Hence, we are running a more comprehensive follow-up survey at the moment. In this work in progress, we report first results focusing on one of the games, namely League of Legends, because it was the game showing the most explicit tendency in the pre-study. The results of the follow-up survey reinforced the poll results. The majority of players reports an increase of toxic communication and behavior since the beginning of the pandemic. One possible explanation is that players tend to be more toxic because they use games as an outlet for the stress and frustration caused by the global pandemic situation. However, the initial results of our main survey suggest that players might also overestimate the level of toxicity because they generally consider toxicity to be a severe problem in League of Legends, or because they just play more frequently since the pandemic. In the next steps of this work in progress, we will look at the other 7 games in more detail. We want to explore whether the perceived increase of toxicity is a steady trend across games.